Vikramaditya II, right? Second Vikramaditya. So when he saw this temple, oh my God, what a beautiful temple is this, right? So technically, Pallavas are the one who are known for Dravidian architecture, right? Dravidian style of temple architecture, right? Dravidian temple architecture, who are basically known for making such kind of viman. Pallavas are the one who will create these very heavy shikhars, right? Plus again, mandap is similar to what we have seen. Mandap is similar to what we have seen in this pillared mandap. We have seen. Hang हो रहेगा? क्या? ऑफर कर रहा है? Okay, यहाँ बीच में stuck हुआ था. मतलब did we miss anything or is it fine? Good to go? Yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. Yeah, all okay? Okay, awesome. Let's continue. Okay, I'm keeping the chats on, but please maintain decorum. Please focus over it. Right, chat is on because I suspect if there is some glitch or buffering or something, and then we should be able to control that. We should be able to look into it. So now again. So now we find that this type of structure, right? One type of structure we have seen in the Nagara part, right? Nagara architecture. If you remember, Guptas were the one who started this. Gupta started temple architecture. Before that, we were making caves, and then from caves we moved to temple architecture, right? And now same procession we discuss over here as well, right? We'll come to this how the Dravida temple started. But to temple architecture here, what we saw, we realized that there is Garbhagriha, and then there is Shikhar like this, and then there's a ring and this thing, and then there is a mandap or something like this, right? This is a pillared mandap. But in this temple, this is one of the classic example of Dravidian architecture where there is a pillared mandap. This one is, if you enter from here, it is all pillar. Now this is a new pillar. This is not the old one. But still, if you go inside, you find that this is a pillared mandap. Right, pillared mandap. Inside you go to Garbhagriha, and then there is Viman. At the top, there is a monolithic, or maybe not important behind is monolithic or not. But you find a big heavy structure over here which is called a shikhar. It is more like capping, right? It's more like a capstone, cap. Right, a cap is there which is shikhar, right? And then some amalaka and kalash again. Okay, so this is structure. So when Vikramaditya II came to the city, right, and he saw this temple, he was like, oh my God, right, this is amazing. I need to make something like this. So what we realized, Vakatakas, Chalukyas. So Chalukyas are exposed to the temple architecture of Dravida, right? And they're also exposed to temple architecture over here, right? Nagara, right? And when you see too many copies, you make a mix of it, right? You don't exactly copy Dravida, you don't exactly copy the Nagara, but a new style will be formed, which is Vesara. Right, Vesara style. So Vesara style actually is the midway style. Right? It's in mid. It is neither Nagara or Dravida, or you can say it is both. It is both Nagara and Dravida. Some elements will be picked from Nagara style of architecture. Some elements will be picked from the Dravidian style of architecture. So in Vesara style, few temples will be more inclined towards Dravidian. Few temples will be more inclined towards Nagara. Right. So when he goes back and tells his wife, my dear wife, I saw something, and I could not believe my eyes that such temple could also be made. Right, my dear Lok Mahadevi, can you do something? Can you please make a temple for me? And something like that. Some kind of discussion must have happened. I don't know. Right. And when this discussion happened, this is Virupaksha temple, right, which is very much inspired, very much structurally, very much like it resembles the Kailashnath temple of Kanchi, right? But this is the Virupaksha temple which they made at Pattanakal. Are you getting the point? So this is inspired from the Kailashnath temple. Now later on when Rajputas will come in our zone B, Rajputas will see this and they will get inspired and they will create a cave which is Kailasha. This is in Ellora, right? So we'll see that as well when the time comes. But tomorrow most probably we'll be talking about Kailasha as well. So the queen is Lok Mahadevi, right? Lok Mahadevi is the queen who will ensure that his husband, whatever he is asking for, should be done. Okay, anyway, let's get back. So we were talking about Vikramaditya II. So Vikramaditya II defeated Nandivarman, right? And there after this victory, he has ensured he's also having something like that he also has in his kingdom, right? Also in Kailashnath temple, he wrote, right? He liked that temple so much he has gone and written over there that I have defeated the king of Pallavas, right? So he has written his you can say victory inscription in Kailashnath temple. Right, overall he's benevolent and all. Also this is the reign of Vikramaditya II. Now again, Vikramaditya II, if you see, now we have entered into B zone. Now before we go ahead, a small thing I would like to add. Right, when I say B zone, B is 752,000, and B zone is the point where we will find, whenever we will enter B zone, especially this side, we will find that there is influence or attack, right? Some kind of attack is being planned or being attempted from this side. Why? Because Islam has already arrived, right? And after that, the caliphate, the caliphs are expanding. Right, it has nothing to do with the religion, it is political expansion. So yeah, so they are expanding, they are creating their sphere of influence. So we will find that a lot of expeditions, a lot of attacks, minor attacks will happen. So whenever we are into B zone or close to B zone, or in C zone it will be very, very hyper. Right, we understand that in C zone it will be very aggressive, that is chaos. Right, but in B zone as well, especially in the region of the Gujarat, Matrakas later kings will face this. Again, we are realizing Chalukyas later king, something we are discussing over here. Right, once it crosses 700, we are talking about Vikramaditya II. Right, so something of this sort already started. Now we will discuss this. We'll get back to this and see what attempts are made. It's not like all the attempts we need to discuss. Only successful attempts we need to discuss. And we'll talk about the successful events successful events, but yes, we need to understand that such sort of air is blowing over here. Something like this is happening over here, so that whenever you read something like this, that you understand what is happening. Yeah, there is Umayyad Caliphate right now who is trying to improve, who is trying to get into this. Okay, they haven't made it at this point. They haven't made it southern Gujarat. Right? Okay. Okay. Let's continue. Otherwise he has defeated other kingdoms as well. Important, not very very important. Vikramaditya II, if you see, Vikramaditya II is important because he has defeated your Nandivarman II. First point. Second, he is associated with Virupaksha temple, which is very important. Virupaksha temple. Right. The most important king, temples and all, we'll see during this area, this way. Okay. So again, Kirtivarman is the one who got defeated by Rashtrakutas. Danti Durga. So Danti Durga will defeat Kirtivarman, and a new dynasty will be established, the Rashtrakuta dynasty. This is 750. This is Zone B. Again, we're talking about Zone B, right? Zone B. So when we say Zone B means three big kingdoms. One Rajputas, another one Palas, and this is Gurjar Pratiharas. Right, so three kingdoms are basically the important ones. Gurjar Pratiharas, Palas, Rajputas. So now Rajputas will appear after defeating, will actually create a kingdom after defeating Kirtivarman II. So Kirtivarman II is the last king or the last ruler we know, right? Who got defeated by Danti Durga. Danti Durga is the founder of Rajputas, and from here your B zone will start. Danti Durga. Right, so we have discussed all the kings. Let's see if we can place them on a timeline. Okay. So again, all fine, right? Okay. I'm asking team to check once, but yeah. Okay. Okay. So now, we started from Pulkesin I, who is the founder, right? He's the one who basically took this title Satyashraya and all. Also, he was doing Ashwamedha, right? And capital was established at Badami. Pulkesin I, founder, capital at Badami, and Ashwamedha sacrifice. Then we were talking about Kirtivarman, who defeated small kingdoms, and we spoke that Kirtivarman is the one who also expanded. Kirtivarman. This is all happening before 600, right? Before 600. Now, then we discussed Mangalesha, who took the kingdom after the death of Kirtivarman. But then Mangalesha was defeated by his own nephew, Pulkesin II, son of Kirtivarman. Then Pulkesin II defeated everybody. He defeated Mangalesha, he defeated your Harshvardhan, then he defeated the other small kingdoms along with the Pallavas, Mahendravarman. Right? Mahendravarman. Then after defeating Mahendravarman, he established his brother Vishnuvardhan at Vengi. Right. So from here, a new branch will start. Vishnuvardhan is established over here, installed over here. But later on, he was defeated by Narasimhavarman. Right. Narasimhavarman, Patapi Konda. Right, he will defeat, and that follows. That says that there will be a lag of some 13 years. Also, we saw Juin Sang came into this area. He said Pulkesin II is a very good ruler, very efficient. Administration is very efficient and all. Also, we spoke that he's also connected to the Persian king Khusro II. Right, the Samajanta painting we saw. He made that painting. Some ambassador has stuff. Then after this gap, Vikramaditya I came and he defeated them. Right, he defeated and he took back his capital. Also, he captured Kanchi, called himself Rajmalla. Vikramaditya I, Vikram I. Right, so captured Kanchi as well. Then he defeated other Cholas, Chelas, Pandyas as well. Then again, Vijayaditya not important. Vikramaditya II, the two Vikramaditya. So Pulkesin II, Vikramaditya, Vikram I, Vikram II. That's it. Vikramaditya II is two things you can remember about him. Vikramaditya II. One is he defeated Nandivarman II. Right, he defeated him. Plus nearby areas and all. And another is Virupaksha temple. Virupaksha temple. Right, and the last person is Kirtivarman II. Kirtivarman. And this is the end of the story. From here, Rajputas will come. Rajputas will create their own kingdom from here. Rajputas. But now, once they are gone, observe something. Once they are gone, they are in fashion now. Right, once this empire has declined, you realize that now the Vengi Chalukyas, now they will emerge. They will come out as as a separate branch, separate empire. Yeah. Okay. Are we all aligned at this point? Telegram group is our official Telegram group, which is Telegram channel, which is Abhishek_PW UPSC. Let me check the message again. Yeah, Abhishek_PW UPSC. If you write like this, Abhishek capital A, Abhishek_PW UPSC. Right, I'll share there. Okay. So again, it will not be very clear in this diagram, but eventually when you have these diagrams, right, then it will become important. Years are important, no years are not important. Right. For the first time when we are establishing things, we need to see who is actually coming with whom. Otherwise, years are important, no years are not important. Now, so we have established the dynasty contribution. Now let's talk about their cultural contribution. We realize that they have made great temples. Vesara style of temple architecture is technically associated with them. Yeah, so yeah, they are important. Then so let's talk about the cultural contribution of Chalukya. Right, this is Abhishek. Yeah, so Pulkesin I here also you can revise anyway, whatever way you want to. Right, you can talk about Pulkesin I founder, you can talk about his expansion, then you can talk about Pulkesin II, right, his military expeditions, and see his brother Vishnuvardhan over here. Right, then Vikramaditya I is important, Vijayaditya not very important, Vikramaditya II is important. That's it. Nothing else. Right, nothing else. Okay. So now let's talk about their contribution. So this is like for Karnataka, this is golden age. Karnataka history will start to get segregated from here. Right, you can establish that this is basically technical connected to. Yeah, Vijayaditya also. It's not like temple architecture started from Vikramaditya II only. Yeah, so Vijayaditya is also important for temples and all. But again, it is not possible. There are so many temples. It is not possible to talk about everyone. Right, also not very relevant as well. Right, Virupaksha is like a big temple, very important temple. Otherwise there are so many temples. We'll see right now. So now, so yes, this is golden age. They have created a big empire right over here. That one of the biggest empire we'll see. And South India, you see, South India now, the idea of South India administration is changing. Right? Before this, we have seen Satavahanas, but now you see that after Sangam era, after Sangam age, right now this is the era of big empires. Right? And Pallava is big empire. After this, Cholas is again Cholas empire. Right? So these are not kingdoms anymore. These are not small kingdoms anymore. And the Chalukyas, or basically then your Pallavas and then Cholas. Cholas are big, right? Very big. So now what we are observing over here, that this is the era of empires, not the era of kingdoms. Right? Big kingdoms. So this is something you can say from the era of Sangam, where we had small kingdoms. Right? Especially the only empire or the only big kingdom which we saw was Satavahanas. Right? Other than that, we have hardly seen any big empire right now. But now this is the era where we see big empires. Plus, we are now observing that yes, there is efficient administration. They are connected. There is foreign policy. There are embassies and all. Right? The trade and commerce is also rising. Plus, Vesara school. Right? This is something this is something which is being added by Chalukyan dynasty. So Vesara architecture. Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about it. Okay, so let's talk about the temple architecture first. Now here also you will find that temple architecture grows in a way. Right? First of all, you will make caves. So before 600, right, it is mostly caves. So they are also making caves only. But gradually they will move into, when Gupta Empire will start making temples. So gradually they will also go over temples, right? And then we will see structural temples. So later phase we will find structural temples. In fact, let's not say only 600, and a bit further we'll find that they will go for structural temples. Yeah, so this is how it will develop. First of all caves, then structural temples. Now Pallavas will have a different progression, but Vesara again it's the same format. We're talking about Vesara. We saw their inspiration. They took inspiration from Nagara. They took inspiration from Dravida, and then they will make something. And then they'll make something. Let's see how it looks like. So initially we find that there is cave architecture, right? Okay, let's see how it is. The material they are using is reddish golden sandstone. Right, wherever they are using it is reddish golden sandstone. Okay, so now, so early phase you will see that there are caves. So because initial phase, the earliest phase you will find that there are 3 caves. One is Vedic, one is Jain, one is Buddhist. Oh, all the 3 religions are covered. Right? You see that this Vedic cave, it has Nataraj over here, right? Bhagwan Shiva over here. So one is Jain, and one Buddhist. Right? So this Brahmanical cave, this is Ravanapadi cave. Now again, you will find that from outside it is very simple. From outside you will not be able to predict, you will not be able to say that it's such a big cave or there is so much carving inside, so beautiful inside. Right? No, it will be like very simple from outside, very plain exteriors. But when you go inside, you find there are pillared verandas. They have come pillar out of the whole room, right? And then there are shrines, there are sculptures in the walls especially. So pillared veranda, and inside it is beautiful. Inside you find paintings, you find wall paintings over on the top and all, roof paintings, right? Inside you find it is very beautiful. So yeah, so it is like very clean, or very plain outside and very beautiful inside. And you find in Ravanapadi cave there is Shiva as Nataraja, there is Saptamatrikas. Now what is Saptamatrikas? Bhagwan Shiva as Nataraj, so basically it's dancing position. Bhagwan Shiva is dancing, he's doing tanda, right? So this is dancing, he's dancing. But we find more sculptures. By the way, when I teach your art and culture, we talk about all the sculptures. What is Ravan shaking Kailasha? What is Nar Narayana? What is Kalyan Mandap? So we talk about all these things, right? But Saptamatrikas are key. Mostly you find that Bhagwan Shiva is followed by, or Bhagwan Shiva has, whenever Bhagwan Shiva is there, at most of the places, there are Saptamatrikas. Saptamatrikas, the mother goddess, right, in 7 forms. So that is Saptamatrikas. So Sapt 7, Matrikas Mata, mother. So 7 Matrikas, Saptamatrikas also you find. Also on the gate you find, gate has a lot of carvings, dwars, doorkeeper, etc. Right, so Ravanapadi cave. Then later on in the after earliest phase, while we have grown into cave architecture, we find at Badami there are 4 caves. Right, one is Shaivism, 2 caves belong to Vaishnavism, and 1 Jainism. No more Buddhism. Right, the Shaivism, Vaishnavism, and Jainism. So again, same thing, same concept. From outside it will be like very simple, but as you go inside, you find a lot of things. And again, your sculptures, the number of sculptures, your number of stories from Puranas, right, that is increasing. Right now, sculpture is being made on the Puranic stories. A lot of stories being taken. For example, Harihara we had discussed. Right, remember Harihara, Mahishasura Mardani, Varaha Avatar, Narsimha, Trivikrama is Vaman Avatar. Vishnu seated on the snake, that is Ananta. Right, then Nataraj, dancing Shiva. So Badami cave we go. So Badami cave we find that there is again Nataraj, right, Bhagwan Shiva, Bhagwan Ganesh is over here. Then Trivikrama, in 3 steps he's covering all the three whole galaxy and all. Right, then in cave 4 there is a Jain sculpture. Right, so one cave is devoted to Jainism as well. Right, and the other Harihara, this is Harihara. Right, so this is Bhagwan Vishnu plus Shiv, and their consorts with them, or the Mata with them. Both the Matas are there with them. Right, plus there are a lot of the carvings at the door. Some Gandharva, some you can say demigods. Right, so they are there for welcoming you. Right, they are on the gates. So they are more like Dwarpal. But if you see from outside, it will be very plain, very simple. So outside it's very plain, very simple. But inside it will be like inside it will be well carved. And now from here we go into structural temples. Now they will start building temples. So initial phase they were making caves, but then they started making temples. So again, initial phase of temple building is simple, very simple. They have just started. Same as Gupta architecture, we were talking about the Devgarh temple, right? Very simple temple. Then one temple was at Kanpur, made of bricks and all, right? Very simple temples we had made initially. The Gawa temple at Kanchi, right? Parvati, Parvati temple. Those are very simple temples. Again we find that here these are simple temples initially. Right? We go into nitty-gritty, but not over here. Right now let's just place them where they are, and we'll talk about the elements and everything in your art and culture course. So you'll find that there you'll find at Ahol. This is at Ahol. So Ahol has Lard Khan temple. Now you find something like northern India, something like you can say the Shikhar, something like Shikhar you find here as well. Right, Shikhar. Something they're making. Plus, these walls, these are basically perforated. Air can go inside. These railings are perforated railings. Perforated railings. So that if you are sitting inside, it must be hot, right? So if you are sitting inside, there should be some air going in. Right, perforated railings. Otherwise, it's a simple, very simple flat structure. Flat temple. Right. Similarly, you find Durga temple. So this is Durga temple. Again, something similar to your this thing, your northern India, Shikhar. So they're trying to make Shikhar over here. Right. Plus this curve over here. Right, this curve over here. This curve is apsidal. Like back of the elephant. This is apsidal. This is again inspired from caves. And now you see pillars over here. Now these pillars you find that initially the pillars are simple. like this, basic pillars. Now gradually it will evolve, right? So now this is Durga temple. Similarly, Meghalaya Jain temple. This is Jain temple again. Right, Meghalaya Jain temple. Okay. Again, outside we have like demigods, goddesses like Gandharva, Yakshi, Yakshini, right? For the decoration, for the Dwarpal. So this is your initial. This is, you can say, the initial phase of the structured temple, and then Pattadakal comes in, the mature phase. Now mature phase is amazing. Mature phase is at Pattadakal. We have seen all the three phases: Pattadakal, Ahol, Badami. Right? So Ahol we saw, and now we are going into Pattadakal. So Pattadakal is mature phase. Now here you'll find the temples which we find over here, the 10 temples basically. These 10 temples are your UNESCO World Heritage Site. Right? Okay. So these are 10 temples. 6 are made, in a fashion. They look like Dravidian style, and 4 are mostly, they look like North Indian style. And one of them, out of these 10, one of them looks like, it has both the styles. And it's very tough to say which side it should go. Right? Okay. So also the Pattadakal we have the 10 temples, and other than that we have at Badami there is a Bhutanath group of temples. Right? This is also of the mature phase of this thing, mature phase of Vesara, or mature phase of the Chalukyan temple architecture. Right? So yeah, this is your Bhutanath. Now you see that this looks like somewhere between Shikhar and Viman. It also looks like North Indian Shikhar, right? Because it is small, right? And the width is not that much. It looks like North Indian Shikhar, but it also looks like pyramidal North Indian, South Indian Viman. Right? So it's tough to comment which way it has gone. Right? It is inspired from both. Similarly, this temple, Sangameshwar. So few will be like very, very clear. You can say that it must be similar to Dravidian architecture. Right? So few will be clear. So this is Dravidian. Right? Dravidian style is famous on his Virupaksha, you have already seen. Then there is Mallikarjun. This is Mallikarjun. Right? Mallikarjun temple. This is Sangameshwar. Sangameshwar just saw. This is Sangameshwar. Right? And Nagara style like Jambulinga, Kasi Visheshwar, Galaganatha. Right? These are Nagara style. And one Papanath temple. Papanath temple is basically the combination of both. It's tough to comment whether it is North Indian Nagara or it is Dravidian. So it is Papa. Papa cannot judge where to, which king to support. So Papa is supporting both. That is how you can remember this. So Papanath temple is basically both northern and southern side. Okay. So Vikramaditya II basically commissioned these temples. So now we have seen Vikramaditya II. We know his temples. Virupaksha temple we have already seen. Right? Lok Mahadevi was the queen who actually did this. Right? We have already seen that. Now coinage. If you see coinage during Chalukya period, right? So coinage, your starts with gold coinage as well. So they had some gold coin, right? And a gold coin is called as Gadiyana. Yeah. Gold coin is Gadiyana, right? And this is also called as Varaha. Why Varaha? Because it has Varaha over it. Right? It has boar over it. Boar. Inspired from Varaha avatar. So because it has boar over it, right, it is also called as Varaha coin. So Varaha, right? Okay. Other than that, they have your this thing. Yeah. On the coins they have Nagari and Kannada legends both. So now let's add. We are talking about coinage, and we realize that there are gold coin as well. Gold coin, and it is called as Gadayana. Right? Later called Varaha. Plus, now we have a Nagari legend. That is the legend which is now being used for, which is basically related to Sanskrit or Hindi, and also Kannada legend. So it has mixed. It has a South Indian language as well as North Indian language. So Kannada and Nagari both are being used in this coin now. Right? Other than that, symbols if you see the temples, boar, lotus, a lot of religious symbols are being used over here. So we find temples, we find boar, and we find lotus over here. Plus the smaller coins, right? We have Honu, and Honu is 4 grams, and then we have Hana and Fana. Right? And let's see once. Right? Hana and Fana. So now, so basically we have so we have coins which have very different weight. Right? So we have main thing which is Honu, that is in old Kannada writings we have Fana or Fanam, and quarter is basically called Fana. Yeah. So Honu is the bigger number, for example, 1000 rupees coin, and Fana or Fanam is technically its fraction, right? So Fana, Hana are technically same words, right? It is more about pronunciation. So Hana or Fana, it comes from the same thing, right? So Fanam or Fana or Hana is basically the fraction, right? So Honu is main thing, and Fana/Fanam, or let's not write Fanam, right? These are basically fractions. Okay. So now, next, this question came in 2022. In medieval India, the term Fanam referred to. Right, Fanam referred to. So it's something like this, if you can retain, Fana or Fanam. Though we will learn coinage separately in culture, in this culture course as well. That we'll talk about all the coinage, etc. But still, if you can remember as many things possible from here, that is the intent of having this discussion over here. Right, if you can remember something from here, right, it will be super helpful, and then it will help us connect in your culture course. So Fanam they had asked in last year paper, they had asked Fanam. Right, again, simple question could be answered if we have studied. Now let's talk about their contribution in literature. So again, this is like golden age for your literature as well. We see a lot of development in literature. Yeah, okay, good. We see a lot of development in literature. Now, literature we see, coinage we have discussed temples, right? We have discussed caves. Now, literature we see, so Chalukya's cultural contribution we are discussing. So till now we have seen temples, we have seen caves, we have seen coins, and we have seen what else? Cave, temples, coins, and this one. And then let's talk about literature. Now, literature again, the culture is somewhere midway between Kannada and North India. So we will see that they are contributing in the expansion of Kannada literature. Plus Sanskrit is also there. Plus later on we'll see they're not in this era, but later on the other Chalukyas we'll see that they are contributing to the Telugu literature. Telugu literature. Right. So Kannada, Sanskrit, Telugu all will develop under them. Yeah, all will develop under them. So Kannada, Sanskrit, Telugu. So Kannada, if you see, let's talk about Kannada literature first. Kannada. Now Kannada, by the way, when we are discussing this, it is not limited to only Badami Chalukyas, but it also includes some contribution from the Vengi Chalukyas, and later there will be more Chalukyas. There is one more branch, Western Chalukyas, right? So yeah, so it is not only limited to the Badami Chalukyas, but more. Now, but right now, when we see Kannada, we realize that they have contributed a lot to Jain literature, Jain Puranas. Right, Jain Puranas. Second important contribution in Kannada is again a later development after close to 1000 somewhere, like after 1000 you can say, is Veer Shaiva Vachan. Veer Shaiva Vachans. A lot of Vachans will be there, a lot of religious writing will be there, and this is connected to Veer Shaivite, this is connected to Lingayats. We'll connect this thread later, but right now you can write this down. One of the main contribution is from Veer Shaivism. This is offshoot of Shaivism. Right, not exactly, but yes. Right now for today we can say that it is offshoot of Shaivism until unless we are going deep into this. Right. Okay. So Veer Shaiva Vachan. So this is one contribution. Other than that, not much is left. Not much we have from this era. Most of the things are extinct. Most of the things we have lost. But we have a lot of references about these literatures. Right. We have Kappe Arabhatta. This we have. Kappe Arabhatta. Right. This is one book. Second we have your Karnateshwar Katha. We don't have this book now, but this book is being quoted by referred by Jayakirti. So later writer talks about this book, Jayakirti. Right. And this book is from Pulkesin II period, Pulkesin II. And in this book, this is the story of Pulkesin II. Basically, Pulkesin II is the hero here. Right, Karnateshwar Katha. Then there is Shyamakundacharya. This book was written by Prabharita. Again, similar era, 650 somewhere, Prabharita. Then let's add one more name to this. Srivardha Deva. Right. This is by Srivardha Deva. He wrote this book. He's also called as Tumbul Acharya. And he wrote this book, Chudamani. Right, Chudamani. This Chudamani book is technically a commentary on Tatvarth Maharashtra. Okay, Tatvarth Maharashtra. Similarly, if we talk about Sanskrit, let's add two books over here. Sanskrit here only we can write. So Sanskrit one is Mitaksara. Mitaksara is written by Vigneshwar. And this is commentary over Yagnavalakya Smriti. This we had discussed before as well. Smriti. Right. So we are talking about Yagnavalakya. We are talking about there are two major Smritis. One is your this thing, Manu Smriti, right? Dharma Shastra we are talking about. And after Dharma Shastra, a lot of other Smritis were written. So in Dharma Shastra, one was Manu Smriti, but another famous Smriti was Yagnavalakya Smriti. And a lot of commentary is written over Yagnavalakya Smriti. One is Vigneshwar. This is helpful in judiciary. Right? So Mitaksara, Vigneshwar. Then Someshwar III wrote Manas Ullasa. Someshwar III. He wrote this book, Manas Ullasa. Also, we get to know about a poetess, Vijnaka. She's a poetess, Vijnaka. Right? Not much is known about her, but few verses we have here and there. So Vijnaka name also comes. She is a poetess. Right? Sanskrit. Telugu development is not right now. Telugu will happen under Eastern Chalukyas. Eastern Chalukyas. And this will happen around 8th, 11th century, after 1000. Right? And here we'll talk about Pamparanna. Right? No, I'm sorry, not Jaya Pamparanna. Nanaya Bhatta later on. Nanaya Bhatt. Yeah. Pamparanna and all will come in your Kannada literature, but later on, not right now. For now, you can if you can remember or basically recognize these names, it is good enough. Right? To gradually keep on increasing your vocabulary or basically your knowledge, you can say recognition about books. Right? You should be able to recognize as many books as possible. It is not like you can remember all, but yes, if you can recognize, that will be super helpful. Right? To Kannada. So Telugu will see that under Eastern Chalukyas, basically Chalukyas of Vengi and all, we'll see there is development of Telugu literature. Vengi side we have seen, Vengi is Vishnuvardhan, a dynasty will rise, but in the B zone, not right now. So we'll talk about the Telugu literature later on, right? How this development will take place. Okay, around 11th century, Eastern Chalukyas. Okay, so this is the mind map which will be helpful, right? I'll give you the fair format, the original format of these mind maps again in this thing only in your Telegram, right? So see if you can use this. Otherwise, we have already discussed. If you can make something like this of your own, that will be super helpful. Okay, so let's move forward. Literature we have discussed. Right? Any spelling, any issue somewhere, the things are there. You can read these slides and then you can make a mind map. Your call. Okay, so literature during Chalukya period we have seen. Also, Pulkesin II. We have not discussed this, but let's add. So Pulkesin II had a court poet Ravi Kirti. Right? Now Ravi Kirti has written one inscription at Aihole. And this is a poem. This is a poem. He's basically Ravi Kirti is his court poet. Right? So in the you can say the thing of his king. This poem is actually written in old Kannada script. Right? Old Kannada script, and the language is Sanskrit. So it is written in Sanskrit language but Kannada script. This is something different, something important. So we need to know this. So this Pulkesin Aihole inscription that is written by Ravi Kirti, a poet, and he has written this in Aihole. It's old Kannada script but Sanskrit language. This we remember. This Pulkesin II, of course. Pulkesin II. Yeah. Okay. Papanatha saying yes. All were your these are same Lingayats which are in discussion because of reservation. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about Lingayats. We'll talk about their versions and all. We'll talk about Basavanna. But with Bhakti, with Sufi and Bhakti, we'll cover everything. Right? So not at this spot, not in your medieval India. We'll talk about all these philosophies in your in the culture course. Right? We are placing them here, but we'll talk about them in the culture course. What is Aihole? Aihole is the place now. So we were discussing that there are three places: the Aihole, Badami, and Pattadakal. Right? Pattadakal, Aihole, and Badami. Right? All are nearby, within some 100 kilometers, 150 kilometers, something like that. They're very close to each other. Okay, Papanath and everything is Vesara only. All the temples we had discussed is Vesara. Now, if you see Eastern Chalukyas of Vengi, now who is the founder of Eastern Chalukyas of Vengi? Let's see who can answer this. Founder. Can somebody tell me the founder? Or the first king. Let's not the founder. Founder is tough. It's tough to comment who is the founder. First king. Do we know who is the first king of Eastern Chalukyas of Vengi? Yeah. Good, good. It's good you are paying attention. Yeah, phenomenal. Vishnuvardhan, very good, very good. So basically, it was Pulkesin too who had praised somebody on in Vengi, right? It was his brother Vishnuvardhan. Vishnuvardhan. But we realized for a very, very long time, nobody was there until and unless Badami Chalukyas are over. Right? When they are finished, they are over. Right? This branch at Vengi will grow. Yeah, so they will grow. So let's see. Now we are not going to discuss Eastern Chalukyas, but we are just placing them over here. Where they were actually they were. Right. So initially we realized that it is Vishnuvardhan, and Vishnuvardhan will actually declare independence immediately once his brother is gone. Right. So yeah. So your capital is your Vengi. Right. Modern it is Eluru, and later on they will shift capital to Rajamahendravarman, Rajamundri. Right. So this is the spot from where they will rule. So now if you see the Eastern Chalukyas are basically ruling from Telugu region, Andhra region, Telangana region. Right. And they will just see the rise of Telugu. Under them there will be a rise of Telugu. Also, this is the spot where Eastern Chalukyas, basically sorry, the Badami Chalukyas are gone, and we saw that it is Rajputas who will take over. This is what? This is B zone. This is 750 to 1000. Right, and so initial stage, Vishnuvardhan is the one who started this, but we'll find that it is not Vishnuvardhan who is taking it forward, but it is starting from somewhere around 800. Yeah, when Rajputas are already there, and now when they are there, they'll keep on fighting with each other. So yes, that fight will go on in all the kings, right? I'm not discussing this. Vijayaditya 2, you see, Vijayaditya 3 fighting with Pallavas, Pandyas, Gangas. They are trapped in between. One side we have Pallavas, we have Rajputas, Pandyas. They all will keep on fighting with each other, right? So nothing to discuss over here, right? I want you to. This is a minor dynasty, and you already know about this. This is happening in B zone. What is relevant we take up? So Vijayaditya also you see, they're fighting. Bhima 1 captured by the Rajputa king, right? And kidnapped him. He's captured by Rajputa king, right? And then Vijayaditya 4 again dispute is there. Amma 2 some political stability. So nothing to discuss in this Eastern Chalukyas of Vengi. But yes, one thing which you can realize that it is complete B zone. Right, so Chalukyas of Badami were in A zone, Chalukyas of Vengi are in B zone. Simple, very, very simple. Right, and any relevance? Not much relevance. Right, not much relevance over here. No, so we are discussing key Chalukyas of Vengi. Started from somewhere here in the B zone. Right, from here roughly your B zone starts. Right, roughly at this point your B zone starts. 750 somewhere. Right, Rajputas are here and they were there, kept on fighting with each other. Hardly matters. Right, on the other side they had Pallavas as well, so they will keep on fighting with each other. Right, so Kuj Vishnuvardhan and then you can mark. So Eastern Chalukyas, they are one Chalukyas. Simple B zone, one Chalukyas. Right, they will also be defeated by Cholas in the end at 9999. See, such a great year. Chola king Raja. So he's Raja. Right, one of the great Raja. So multiple Raja. Right, so he's Raja. So very, very important hero, Raja. So he'll come, don't worry. Yeah, so he'll come. So Raja. Another Chalukyas are Western Chalukyas or Chalukyas of Kalyani. Right, there is one more feudal branch which grew and they started their own, you can say kingdom, or basically a new Chalukyas will come, right, connected to the previous one only, founded by Talapat II. And you see, this is C zone. So now it is so simple, right? So simple. Initially, the first Chalukyas which we discussed were your Badami Chalukyas in A zone, then B zone Vengi, and then finally they will emerge in the C zone, in the chaotic era, starting from Talapat II. Now they will come in C zone. We'll talk about them whatever is required. But still, I would like you to go through at least the timeline. How they came. And see, this is like 957 or technically from 1000 to 1200. So this is your third Chalukyas in C zone, and they are operating from Kalyani slightly northwards to Badami. Right? So if this is Badami, let's say if this one is Badami, and from here Vengi is operating. So somewhere here, right, it is Kalyani. These are your Western Chalukyas. Important, yes, important, right? It's not like we are skipping them. Right, we'll talk about them. But today, at least establish these 3 Chalukyas. So Chalukyas of Badami, Chalukyas of Vengi, Chalukyas of Kalyani. Right, now we know all 3. Chalukyas of Vengi because they are towards the east, so they will be Eastern Chalukyas. Chalukyas of Kalyani because they are towards the western side, yeah, comparatively western, so yes, they will be called as Western Chalukyas. Badami Chalukyas because they are at Badami. So now you will be able to distinguish between all 3. Right, so A, B, C zone, all the 3 are in different zones, easy to understand. Right, no such confusion. Chalukyas also becomes something like a title, right? Chalukyas, I'm a Chalukya. Right, and the Chalukyas will also have some kind of, you can say, pride in it. Yeah, somebody's Chalukyas. Right, so now, so similarly, we'll have more Chalukyas. Right, these are Chalukyas of Lat. This is a very small dynasty, close to, you can say, between Narmada and Mahi River, somewhere here in Gujarat. Right, again, small kingdom, Chalukyas of Lat. Right, again, it will come, not right now. Right, they're not placed at this spot, but yes, Chalukyas of Lat. Still, Chalukyas of Lat, maybe we'll not discuss because it's a very, very small kingdom. So, yeah, maybe whenever you have time, maybe right now, or when we are discussing C spot, you can read the Chalukyas of Lat. Right, whatever is important, relevant, I'll talk about that. So, Nimbarka, Drapa, etc., you can see, have a look at them. Now, let's talk about Pallavas. Okay, so Pallavas. So now, after Chalukyas, if somebody is important in this era, is Pallavas. We have seen Chalukyas, we have seen Harshvardhan, and the last ones are Pallavas. Okay. Okay, so yeah. So before the Pallavas will take over, if you see Pallavas, before Pallavas will take over, there is Kalabhara revolt. Right now, let me talk about this. We have already seen this. So in this region, we had seen your 300 BCE to 300 CE. It was your Sangam age. Right, between 300 to roughly 600 BC, 600 CE, there are Kalabharas as well. They are the one who are dominating in this region. right? They are the one, they are, you know, who are dominating after your Chera Cholas Pandyas, right? And after Chera Cholas Pandyas, right? They are the one Kalabharas who are dominating. Now Kalabharas basically, Kalabharas, if you see, Kalabharas are always kept in a very bad light, right? It is like they are not civilized. They are the one who have brought anarchy over here, right? And these 300 years are basically considered as a dark age, right? It is being shown, you know, light being shown over here, that this is more like a dark age. Right, and now everybody will have to come together to defeat them. Right, and so we realize that they are the one who are fighting initially against Cholas, Pandyas, Cheras, Pallavas, everyone. Right, all the kings, they defeat one. But they never, you know, were considered as somebody who is the patronage of culture and all. But again, we had discussed that this is the zone where post Sangam text was written. So something is fishy over here. Right, Patinena, he is a connect. Remember something like that? All the epics and all Shilpadikaran, Mani Meghai, right? All were compiled in this age, and that is the reason we were not aligned to the thought that this is the era of chaos. Right, and this is the era where you can say things are, you know, the culture and all are not streamlined. Yeah, so reason might be one of the reasons which is believed, you know, is true, is that they were not supporting Brahmins, they were against the Brahmadeyarites, right? And mostly they were patronizing Buddhism. So maybe because they were not patronizing Brahmanism, that is one of the reasons that other kingdoms will feel like that they are not following the Vedic practices or the Brahminical practices. So basically this is chaotic era and everybody is against them. Right, so now King Simha Vishnu, he is from the Pallava dynasty, he will defeat the Kalavaras and one of the main founders. Other than that, there is a Pandyan king as well, but right now we are talking about Simha Vishnu. The story starts from your Simha Vishnu only. Right, now again there are multiple, you can say, you know, origin theory of Pallavas, who are Pallavas, right? From where these Pallavas have come. Now, these theories, again, if you see that one of the belief is that they are the descendants of the Western Kshatraps, right? The Western Kshatraps, Saka came, the Western Kshatraps, then Pallavas. Right? That is one theory. Second, it is believed that they were robbers. Right? They were thieves. Pallavas were thieves, robbers, and somehow they acquired some area, some kingdom, some reign, and they got powerful. They got very powerful. So that is one belief. Also, Pallava word comes from the creepers, from the plants which creep. That word creepers. So Pallavas basically Pallav, Patta, and a pair, and the Pallav. So basically, it comes from the creepers as well. So that's the third thing. Also there is the belief that there is a mix of South Indian and North Indian blood, and that has led to the rise of basically that is the Pallava dynasty. A lot of you can say origin theories are given. Are we very sure which theory is correct? No, we don't know whether any of the theories is correct. But yes, such theories are there. So yes, we are discussing that, you know, such theories are discussed. But we are not very sure but whether it is true or not. Also, they were the feudatories of Satavahanas. So Satavahanas were there. After the Satavahanas decline, for some time, there were Ishwakus in this spot, and then Pallavas came. Right, the rise of Pallavas will happen. Their capital is Kanchi. Now a lot of things we already know about them because of the fight with the Chalukyas. So we know their capital is Kanchi. And overall existence, if you see, so they are somehow existing in small kingdom or basically small feudal state or big state. They are existing from 300 to 900, almost for 600 years. Right, it is not like if during the reign of Kalabharas they are not there. They are there, struggling with the Kalabharas, not very dominant in the region, but yes, they were there. And they will become prominent from the reign of, you can say, Simha Vishnu, again 550. Right, so close to 550, the story will start. Important person over here is Simha Vishnu. So see, only 4 kings are important, right? We'll see few more kings, but not at all important. One is Simha Vishnu, again because he looks like a founder to us. Right, Simha Vishnu. Then Mahendra Varman, Mahendra Bahubali, and Narendra Bahubali we have already seen. So Mahendra Varman, Narsimha Varman. And then, so both the Narsimha Varman 1 and Narsimha Varman 2, both are important for us. Only these 4 are important. Right, we're not going into the whole dynasty. Only these 4 are important. Is this a story? Is this a story in your A zone? Yes, it is 750. Right, I'm not saying for B zone we read separately, but I'm saying you will give a reading, but not very important. These 4 are important. Focus on these 4 only. Focus on temple architecture, focus on this, focus on painting and other cultural contribution. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so Simha Vishnu we are talking about. Now again, before this again, there is one more name which comes, which is Vishnu Gopa. Right, Vishnu Gopa. Why are we discussing Vishnu Gopa? Right, Vishnu Gopa. If you remember, once upon a time in Gupta era, we were talking about a Napoleon, right? Napoleon, who had gone to south, right? Attacked Kanchi and restated the king over here. So this king is Pallava king, and his name is Vishnu Gopa. Yeah, so one more name for the sake of history of Pallavas. Yeah, there was somebody who had lost to Samudragupta. Right, remember Samudragupta. So he came down this way. Right, different approach to different kingdom. Yeah, so that was Vishnu Gopa. Okay, so Vishnu Gopa. So yeah, so he had defeated Vishnu Gopa, and then we know he was reinstated. We know why. Then he must have paid some tribute because I don't think there's any other option. Right, yeah. Okay, other than that, the important ones are Mahendra Varman, Narsimha Varman, etc. Okay, now we have discussed the conflict. So Simha Vishnu, we are talking about Simha Vishnu. So yeah. So Simha Vishnu. So he is known as the founder. He defeated Ishwakus, then Kalabharas and all. Already seen capital at Kanchi. So capital is at Kanchi and title Avani Simha. Right? Do we need a timeline over here? I think now you can associate this with the Chalukyas. So this is before 600. Before 600, the founder is basically establishing the empire, defeating everyone nearby, defeating your Kalabharas, defeating your Ishwakus, and then creating this small kingdom of Pallavas, taking the title of Avani Simha, lion. So you see that there is a love towards lion. They love lion. Right? Some affinity towards lion. Right? From here itself. Okay. Then comes the reign of your Mahendra Varman 1, Mahendra Bahubali. Right, now we know that Mahendra Bahubali. So we know one part. We know he lost to Pulakesi 2. That's something we know. But other than that, you know, we must also understand that he is Vichitra Chitta. Written over here? Okay, it's okay. If not, then right. He is Vichitra Chitta. Matlab kind of a genius. Vichitra. Right, a kind of a genius who is so much into art. Right, he's not only patron of art, but he is himself, you can say, somebody who has a lot of understanding of art. Right, so not only patron of art, but himself a poet and musician. A writer as well. Matta Vilasa Prahasana. So he wrote this book, Matta Vilasa Prahasana. Famous book by Mahendra Bahubali. Right, then he's the one who will start construction of the temple you can't start with. Right, first of all, you need to start with caves. So caves construction will be started by, cave temples will be started by our Mahendra Bahubali at Mahabalipuram. Right, so this is the zone close to Chennai, Mahabalipuram. So Mahabalipuram is the spot which is being, you can say, constructed by, right, beautified by the Pallavas. So Mahabalipuram. If you have seen that, great. But today, after this class, right, just zoom, just go to Google Map, right, and zoom that area of your Mahabalipuram, where it is, what all things you find over there. Now, plus also, he was also into Jainism, but now the things are changing, right? He will embrace Shaivism. So he started with Jainism, but later on embraced Shaivism. So now we will see that the cave architecture, right? So we know we know that first of all there is cave, and then we move towards temples, right? Technically we call it structural temples, right? And this is Pallavas. So Pallavas, basically we are talking about today, we are discussing Dravidian architecture. Dravidian, already know this, okay, great. But it is not so simple. In between, for the very first time, we have one more step, which is called as mandap. So only in the case of Pallavas, it is not straightforward. It will not be directly from the caves to structural temples. Between there is one more step called as mandap, right? So first of all, they will make caves, then they will make mandaps, then they will make structural temples, right? Okay, let's move ahead. Yeah. So we found the first king. We knew that he lost to Pulkesin II. That is something we already knew. But his contribution to culture, this is something new to us, and we'll talk about that, right? Mahendravarman already discussed, defeated by Pulkesin II. We know that. Second, Narasimhavarman. He is what? Amrendra Bahubali. He has to take revenge of his father, right? So yeah, he is greatest. He avenged his father, killed Pulkesin, right? And took the title of Vatapi Konda. Now here one more thing we need to understand, that here he was not alone. He was also supported by Katappa, not Katappa, Prince Manavarma, right? So Sri Lankan Prince Manavarma is also supporting him. Right, it is not only Pallavas, but Pallavas plus Sri Lanka attacking on Pulkesin, defeating him. Other than that, he had defeated all the nearby CCPs, Chola, Chera, Pandyas, that small kingdoms. He had sent 2 naval expeditions to Sri Lanka. He needed help. His friend Manavarma, right? He needed help, so he sent 2 expeditions to help him. Though he could not help him properly, but yes, he tried. Right? Also, he is the one who will be making those mandaps, who will be making those monolithic rock temples. So technically, the Mamallapuram or Mahabalipuram. This name Mamalla, Mahabalipuram. So he is the one who is called as Mahabali, Bahubali, right? Mamalla. This name is technically who is powerful, somebody who is wrestler. So this is Mahabali. Right, so technically these names come from our Narasimhavarman. Right, he is the one who is your real Bahubali actually. Right, Mamalla. So the word Mamalla comes from here, and that is the reason Mahabalipuram is technically Mamallapuram. Right, it is Mamallapuram. So you know Sri Lanka, yes, Mamallapuram. क्या lag हुआ है? Did you miss anything? या थोड़ा बहुत lag हुआ है? बढ़िया आगे? इसको कंप्लीट कर देते हैं, 10-15 मिनट और लगेगा. राइट, जब बात खत्म कर देते हैं. या बढ़िया आगे? Okay, great. So now, Narasimhavarman, revenge wala story we know that he took revenge, right? He is one of the greatest. He avenged his father, right? And called Vatapi Konda. But other than that, it is his name, which makes Mamallapuram, which makes Mahabalipuram. Yeah, okay, let's continue. So he made some monolithic temples. He is that intermediary stage. So that intermediary stage which we are talking about, it is Narasimhavarman. And again, his name is Narasimha. A lot of connotation, a lot of importance of Narasimha. Narasimha is again your or Narasimha avatar, Vishnu avatar. Right? Again, what? Again, lion avatar. Narasimha avatar is lion avatar. He will come out of pillar. He will break a pillar and come out. Right? That is Narasimha avatar. Okay, to kill Hiranyakashyap. The story says that Narasimha avatar will come out of a pillar to kill Hiranyakashyap. Right? Again, let's get back. So we are realizing that Narasimhavarman. Okay. Then, as we discussed, he's the one who is discussing making Mamallapuram. Right? He will make those Rath. Mandap or Rath. Right? He will make those Rath. Right? We'll see that. Okay. So after that there is Mahendravarman II. The conflict is on and they are still fighting. Parmeshwarvarman lost to Vikramaditya. We know Vikramaditya. First Vikramaditya. He defeated. There is a fight. Once he defeated, other time he defeated. Right? So that will go on. Right? So this chaos, this fighting is on. Right? Then we are talking about Vikramaditya II defeating Nandivarman. Right? So Nandivarman. This is that Nandivarman. But before that, there is one more king, Narasimhavarman II. Yeah. So I said only 4 are important. One is your Simha Vishnu, who is the founder. Right? Second is your Mahendravarman. Third is Narasimhavarman. And fourth is Narasimhavarman II. That's it. Nandivarman II, etc. We are not looking into. Right? Now Narasimhavarman II is famous because he is into temple construction. Right? He is Rajasimha. Right? He is the one who made that Kailashnath temple at Ranchi. Understood? Also called as Rajasimheshwar temple. So Rajasimheshwar temple is one thing, and Shovan temple is another thing. The 2 most important temples are from your Narasimhavarman II. That is the reason we will talk about him. We know we will be discussing. Right? Other than that, Nandivarman, etc. We are not discussing. Right? So you see that. Okay. Now let's talk about the temple architecture. So now, before we go into this temple architecture, one thing more we need to add. I'm just adding over here. And this is the zone, the Pallava kingdom. Pallavas, from where we find there is a start of Bhakti literature, Bhakti movement. Right, this is the spot of start of Bhakti movement. Now we'll find in Pallavas there are 2 types of saints. One is Nayanars, others are Pallavas. Nayanars means Nayan means Aankhein means eyes. Bhagwan Shiva has extra eye, so yes, they are the follower of Shiva. Right, and they will make a lot of bhajans, a lot of jai things, the preaching about Bhagwan Shiva, Lord Shiva. And Alvars are the follower of Vishnu. Right, here it's more about kirtans, it's more about songs, it's more about poems, prayers, about Shiv and Vishnu. Right, so which is popular, and it is beyond the Vedic sacrifice, it is beyond the Puranic sacrifices. There is no ritual and all required. Right, it's very simple. So you realize that this reform started from south, and now it will move up. It started from Nayanars and Alvars. We'll see in Bhakti movement, we'll see one Vitthal movement in Maharashtra. Right, we'll see a lot of scholars coming out from Kerala and other regions. Right, and this will move up, and later on we'll have Kabir and Guru Nanak and everyone in the north. So this reform came from north to south. But if you remember, the Brahmanical religion actually came from outside. It got spreaded in this area and came from north to south. Yeah. So the original religion, right, which are in the broad, that came from north to south. Right. But the reform, we see that the reverse of the counter current, that reform is moving in the upward direction. So this is the start of reform. This is the start of that point where we see Nayanars and Alvars, one preaching about Vishnu, one preaching about the bhakti of Vishnu, other talking about the Bhagwan Shiva. Now when we say bhakti technically means it's love for the God. Mainly love for the God. It is prem marg. Bhakti marg can also be called as prem marg. You love the God, and you can decide how to worship a God, how to treat a God. There is no mantra or something required for this. That's a very generic discussion, right? About yeah. Okay. So Nayanars and Alvars. Okay, so from here we'll start. So let's start from here tomorrow. It's okay, right? We'll continue our discussion from here, or let's continue with the architecture. Let me show the architecture because you only need to see the architecture, right? You don't have to put mind inside into it, right? So now the architecture. So architecture, you realize that initially it was cave temples, right? You find the cave temples. Okay. So initially you find that there are cave temples which are very simple caves where inside a rock they have cut out a shrine, right? And they have cut this rock out and they made some god inside, right? That's a Garbhagriha inside. On the if you go inside on the wall there will be some god. Simple pillars, right? Very simple pillars. In midway they are octagonal. Right. So initially these are like caves, and similar to caves what we had in North India. There are simple caves that they are making. So initially this is Mandagapattu temple, right? This is Brahma Shiva Vishnu. This is Varaha cave temple, Mamallapuram, right? Then this is Mahendravadi rock temple. So initially they are making very simple cave, and this is mainly dedicated to our Mahendravarman, right? The first king, Mahendravarman, right? Vichitrachitra, Mamandur rock temple. Then we have monolithic Rathas of Pallavas, right? So let's continue tomorrow. Okay. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Go ahead with your other class, and we'll continue from here. We'll talk about the cultural contribution, right? I'll show you the Rathas and all. Right? These are the Rathas technically. This is what Narasimha did. Narasimha Varman I, right? These are the Rathas or Mandaps, mainly Rathas, right? These are the Rathas which he made, and then we'll find the structural temple. Okay, we'll continue from here. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, let me check the lag as well. We'll meet again tomorrow, right? I don't know why this happened, but yes, let me check. Okay, guys, see you again tomorrow. Any doubt? Anything else? Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. See you again tomorrow. Please do study, and please do study. Right, please do study so that you get a hang of it, see what it is all about. Rivers carry their name and title in Brahmi legend. It means the opposite side of the coin, right? Opposite side of the coin, the reverse side of the coin. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.